Have you ever wondered if cycle charging was worth doing even when using regular cav that aren't labeled as shock cav? Well, today we're going to test exactly that. In this video, we'll cover the basic concept of cycle charging tests being done on non-shock cav, and just for fun, we'll also test shock cav. So what is cycle charging? Cycle charging is when you take your cav, charge them into an enemy unit, preferably charging their rear. What happens is the enemy unit will take damage from the initial impact of the charge, but your cav will also benefit from the charge bonus, which increases their melee attack and weapon damage over the course of 15 seconds. This buff quickly loses its effectiveness over those 15 seconds. Some would even say the last 5 seconds of the buff is negligible, and you should only leave your shock cav in for the first 10 seconds of combat. After about 10 seconds has passed, you pull your cav out, and you charge them back in once most of the unit models are out of combat. This is the basis of cycle charging. Now we'll get into the testing portion of the video. First, we'll take some non-shock cav and we'll do 3 runs of them cycle charging while averaging the amount of time it takes for them to route the unit, the damage they take, and unit models lost. We'll also do 3 more runs of them just fighting in combat, just for reference. Only 2 iterations were shown just because of camera angle. For testing purposes, I chose Black Knights versus Black Knights with Lances because they had the lowest cost difference while not having too large of a stat difference. Here I am just showing the calculation of the averages for each category measured. Unfortunately, the entire non-shock cav was wiped out during the no cycle charge testing. You can pause the video here if you need more time to read through the numbers. Okay, so now we can sort of look at the comparisons. We can see that the units that did not utilize cycle charging weren't even able to route these Soros warriors, while cycle charging units were able to route them in about 119 seconds. So there is a clear winner here, showing that utilizing cycle charging is worth using even for non-shock cav. Lastly, we'll be testing cycle charging versus not cycle charging with shock cav. Obviously, we know how this is going to go, but this can be used to further enforce why you should be cycle charging if you can handle the micromanagement intensity. The same methods will be used for testing, 3 runs for each group, averaging the time it takes to route the unit, the damage they take, and the unit models lost. And again, I am showing averages being calculated for each category. You can pause the video if you need more time to read through it. Now we can actually do some number comparisons. As you can see, it did take the shock cav a bit more time to route the enemy while cycle charging. However, if you think about it, this does make sense, as the cav has to disengage and then charge back into the enemy, resulting in it taking more time to route. But if we take a look at the amount of damage taken and casualties, the damage taken in the cycle charging group took a lot less on average compared to the no cycle charging group, and this can also be seen in the casualties category. Although it took more time to route them, we were able to take less damage, which is a pretty good result, as now the cav can charge into other units while being at a healthy amount of HP. Our main goal on the battlefield is to route the enemy, but we also want to do so in the most efficient way. So our main takeaways from today's video are that cycle charging is best used for both non-shock cav and shock cav. The reason why we don't want to leave shock cav in prolonged combat is because they usually have lower melee defense compared to non-shock cav, which results in them having less staying power in prolonged combat. Also, cyclocharging for shot cav may take a bit more time to rout the enemy, but it also causes our shot cav to take less damage so we can continue to cyclocharge other units after they successfully rout their targets. That's all we have for today. If you have any critiques on how I do my testing, please leave a comment below highlighting your suggested methods. If you found the video helpful, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment below. Also, subscribe if you haven't already.